I think it's all encompassing. There are big differences, but I believe that the more I know about real estate, the better I'm able to service the clients, the better I'm able to advise them. The more I know about loan programs. For me, housing is very important because, we lost our house when I was in high school. My grandfather had a stroke, and we ended up losing it my senior year. I moved in with a girlfriend at the time, stayed in my car for 3 months after high school, couch hopped for a couple years, and then always knew housing. Like, how can I get into real estate? What can I do? My grandpa would always tell me that's my biggest regret, is not purchasing back in the day when we could for $100,000. We look back at our house, Marvel Avenue, Simi Valley. It sold for 1 point something,
right,
where he could have purchased it for like 110 is what they offered.
And we're back, everyone. I'm your host, Jason Thibodeau, with the Mortgage Lounge, branch manager of JMJ Financial in Huntington Beach. So I have with us today somebody who's going to showcase to us, realtors, I hope you're listening, and loan officers. I'm going to showcase the power of social media with the man we're interviewing today. Israel, just because it's hard, I will totally master this, but you're going to tell us what your last name is, Israel.
Israel Mazariegos. For you English speakers, Mazariegos.
Mazariegos. I kind of like the way you're saying it, though. Say it one more time.
Mazariegos.
Mazariegos.
I have to add
Did I do that well?
The Spanish twang in there.
Yeah, I don't like to butcher last names, so I'd rather not try. I'd just rather you do it until I figure it out for myself. So, Israel, you are a loan officer for our branch officially now.
Yes, sir.
It's been a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And we found each other through
social media, Instagram, to be exact.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess social media in general, I've told you this before, you do really remind me of my business partner. Shout out to Matt Morrell, in the sense that when I found him in 2014, he was in a very similar stage of life as you, pre-kids, somewhat newly married, and really had that sense of purpose. Now, one thing about Israel that's similar to Matt is he would come into the office first thing, and he'd be one of the last to leave, and he'd be head down on the phone and not, just socializing, right? Because some folks use work as a social time, and some folks, you'll notice, are just very focused on creating what they're after.
Yeah.
And we haven't known each other that long. But Matt approached me old school before the era of social media really took off in 2013 and 14 at a BNI chapter, networking organization, and asked to come work with me, okay? And it wasn't like I was recruiting him. He asked to come work with me. And I did a little bit of recruiting with you, but you were the one that kind of created the initiative.
Right.
And so context is always going to be slightly different for human beings, but the patterns are the same.
Yep.
And that's why everything that I'm seeing points to you're going to do really well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the one thing that's interesting about you that's probably a little bit different, and I actually like it, is you're focused on both. Is it okay to talk about that?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about your background in both sides of real estate.
Right. So I've been doing it for quite some time. Just a brief overview, started as a loan signing agent, jumped in as an LOA, became a loan officer, struggled. I looked young.
How old were you?
I was 18 when I started on the notary loan signing side, 19 when I started the LOA work, was licensed, made good money during COVID. I mean, I didn't have to do much, but then after that really struggled.
Yeah.
Business was coming to most of you loan officers out there. I'm sure you remember it.
We remember.
Yeah, it was a beautiful time. But then it made it really difficult. So was really trying to get in with a brokerage, shout out Luxury Collective in Studio City.
Nice.
Was trying to get in with them.
Yeah.
So I was DMing the broker at the time, the broker owner, the broker manager.
So you were seeking.
Right. Just getting in there, want to get face-to-face, maybe help the realtors in his branch.
Yeah.
Wasn't getting anything. So one day I said, you know what, if I get my realtor license? And he sent me his phone number and said, call me when you get it.
You got his attention that way.
Yeah. So that was my in. And it was a big blessing because I've learned a ton from doing that.
Yeah, honestly, it's so important for us. I'll say when we are young. I'm no longer that. I'm middle-aged now. And I can really relate to that time in my life when I was that age where I felt kind of lost.
Yeah.
And also hard to have someone take us seriously.
Yeah.
Right? Because the baby phase, the lack of life experience, and it wasn't for lack of desire, right? Or willingness to work hard. It was lack of direction and mentorship.
Yeah.
Right? And having a platform where someone would give us the time of day.
Right.
When I was a loan officer in 2004 to 2008, 2008 came and then everything came undone. And I was married at 20 years old. At that time, I was 24. And I had to decide, oh, geez, now what do I do? Back to school. And I was doing what you were doing. I was seeking mentorship. And a lot of people told me to go pound sand, or get out of here, kid.
Yeah.
Like swatting a fly. Yeah. But I met a man who had like an empathetic heart, right? Who took kids off the street and like raised kids on his own as a single dad. And I was just fortunate, and we reference God, right? And I know that God exists. I can't claim that I understand everything about it, but there's something there because I know that somebody's taking care of me. Like yes, I saw it, but he also put somebody in my life that changed everything. Yeah. And it was mentorship that did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it helps a lot when people are willing to pour into you, talk to you, help you. So I'm thankful that we met. I wasn't expecting the relationship that we have so early on, but it's been
we
a
talk
big help.
about sense of purpose, though. Yeah. That's mine. That's become mine because I know what it felt like as a young person to be broke, on the verge of bankruptcy, on the verge of divorce, and lost. Yeah. Right, and that's not a fun feeling. Yeah. And a lot of us come from generational trauma or parents who aren't extremely supportive. And then, you're going to feel lost. Yeah. So good on you for seeking it out and finding it. Because if you seek, you will find.
Yeah. No, I believe that.
To use a Bible reference. Yeah. Real estate versus finance. So take me through the progression. You became a realtor after the notary piece. How did you end up in loans?
Well, I became a loan officer after the notary piece. Right. So that was the first thing.
How long was that a thing for you? Like, how long did that last?
Being a loan officer?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I've held my license since...
but like as an active trying and stuff.
Active trying? So I'm not going to lie to you. You've mentioned this and I've heard it many times. Paralysis by analysis, right? So first lending company, my mentor was looking back on it, amazing, right? I just wasn't necessarily executing on everything he had planned out for me. Weekly, this is what you need to be doing.
Might not have been ready.
Right. Yeah. So trying, I would say... like keeping my head down, actually going after it, maybe the last 2.5 years. Yeah. Before that, kind of making some contacts, kind of trying to make something work. Follow-up game, just abysmal, non-existent, people slipping through the cracks. Yeah. So that's at fault of my own. That's kind of been the journey.
Yeah, that's good. Well, it probably taught you a lot about what doesn't work, and again, that sense of purpose with now your wife. Things have changed. The context has changed. Yeah. But what had you like getting back into loans then? After all, since it sounds like you had a good thing going with real estate.
Yeah. So for me, I think it's all encompassing. There are big differences, but I believe that the more I know about real estate, the better I'm able to service the clients, the better I'm able to advise them. The more I know about loan programs. For me, housing is very important because, we lost our house when I was in high school. My grandfather had a stroke, and we ended up losing it my senior year. I moved in with a girlfriend at the time. Stayed in my car for 3 months after high school, couch hopped for a couple years, and then always knew housing. Like, how can I get into real estate? What can I do? My grandpa would always tell me that's my biggest regret is not purchasing back in the day when we could for $100,000. We look back at our house, Marvel Avenue, Simi Valley. It sold for 1 point something, where he could have purchased it for like 110 is what they offered.
I don't think you've ever shared that with me.
No. It's not something that just comes up in conversation, I'm thankful for it. It developed a lot of my character traits and how I treat people and whatnot. And a lot of people
to go through as a young man, let alone in high school.
So the reason I've decided to jump back into it is, one, I feel like I failed initially. I'm very hard-headed. I kind of obsess over things.
You want to finish what you started?
I want to finish what I started, and at the same time, just continue to grow in this career. I absolutely love it. There's nothing else I see myself doing. from, the people that you get to meet, the connections you make. For some, they've been saving for X amount of years, and it's really rewarding for them, Spanish speakers especially. For others, they're just investors, and they enjoy doing it, and you get to meet their families. So I don't see it as lending is different from real estate, where it
more
is
all-encompassing.
more all-encompassing.
Yeah.
And I feel like it helps me, and it helps me help others, realtors especially. Now I understand a lot more of what they go through.
And that actually makes a lot of sense. And I'm starting to understand you even more clearly now. With what you shared, that's a little bit more vulnerable. And I'm sorry you had to go through that. That's a difficult time. It's interesting, kind of the things that drive us always seem to stem from some period of our adolescence or childhood.
It's always childhood,
yeah, I can relate to that. Well, and you would call that trauma, like the idea of what was it like? I'm trying to understand being a young man at that age, having to live in your car.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. It was a fun time, and there were some really sad moments, but I would say one of my superpowers is a superpower of optimism. Looking back on it, a lot. Like I talked to my wife recently about it. It was simpler times, but that was wake up, go to the gym, go to the first job, hit the gym again in the middle. Between jobs, second job, afternoon, go to bed or hang out with some friends or whatnot. Simpler times,
just
right?
Being a young person.
Yeah, just being a young person trying to save up. With the occasional, crying, why is life happening the way it is? This isn't what I expected. I thought at 18, I would always tell my mom,
all figured out.
I'm going to move out, have my bags ready. Well, so... it's just those are just the cards that I was dealt.
Well, it still is pretty impressive, right? Because a lot of people who experience that kind of trauma maybe don't make it to the other side, or even if they sort of do, they're still waffling. So it's just one of those things that I think is important to understand what drives us. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, of course.
I like what you said. Doing both for you is all encompassing, and you're able to, it sounds like if I'm hearing you correctly, you're able to add value in a more meaningful way.
Right.
Because you can kind of put yourself in the realtor's shoes when you're a loan officer, and then vice versa.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I like that a lot. And in terms of the marketplace, where are you prospecting? Where would you call your farm, or are you more just a network guy from a social media standpoint? What does that look like?
So social media is a huge factor in today's world. I'm kind of an old soul. It's like a whole other job that we have to manage. But I'd say social media, and then as far as like the lending side of things, my farm. You're asking about my area. Yeah. Anywhere from Orange County up to San Diego County, really. Okay. LA County. Yeah. Familiar with, Ventura, LA County, I would say.
And the fact that you're bilingual too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gosh, that opens up a giant segment of the marketplace.
No, it does.
Yeah. You're going to do, I know you're already doing well, but there's a trajectory to one's career. You know what I mean? And through your 20s, you're just trying to figure out how to get on the right path. Right. Yeah. 30s is generally speaking that moment where you figure out, not always, but a lot of times where, okay, I kind of feel like I'm on the right path. Now, from 30 to 40, it's like, how far can I take it? Yeah. From 40 to 50, leadership and more responsibility, your role starts to change. These are all things that I can relate to. But all I can tell you is I've encountered a lot of human beings in our industry and have had an opportunity to coach a lot. And there's a very few that make me feel the way you make me feel about how far I think you're going to go. There's pretty much only one other, and his name is Matt Morrell. That's my business partner. So it means a lot. I'm actually really excited. I'm really honored to have the opportunity to pour into you too. Yeah, because it's coming from a good place, and we try to operate from a place of abundance. And money, whatever, right? But I know that. If I show up a certain way and you show up a certain way, the money is a natural byproduct. Correct. Right. It's not like people are so focused on the end goal that they lose sight of what's important and what drives them. And we try to feel like we've got our what's important figured out here. In real estate, we call that commission breath. Yeah. That's all you're after. I like that. Eventually, people, snuff you out. Well, it's just one of those things where if you're riding a horse and you're nervous or you've never ridden a horse before, guess what? The horse knows. Yeah. Right. versus writing it confidently or in a polished way. It's just the same can be said for sales and how you show up in the world. If you're forced, if you're overly scripted, if you're really coming from a place of desperation, people pick up on that.
Yeah.
And I have empathy for folks who are doing their best with what they're equipped with.
Yeah.
But it's still not a good look.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No, I totally hear that.
Yeah. All right. What's the goal ahead for 2026 at a high level?
High level, I want to help 30 families.
Okay.
That's my high level. And then
is that in both real estate and finance or combined, or what is
I would
that?
say combined. Right now, I'm not at a place where I want to necessarily split it up.
Yeah.
If I can help 30 families, that's my goal. And aside from that, just continue to grow as a man and grow in my faith and grow in my my ability to serve others.
Yeah. Congratulations to you and your wife too, by the way.
Thank you.
Shout out to your wife. I don't know her name.
Her name is Lauren.
Lauren?
Lauren, yeah, yeah.
My wife's Lorraine. Pretty similar.
Yeah, Lauren.
Oh, that's good. Okay. Well, I'm excited to coach you. In terms of the marketplace, it's interesting. So like you've been really, I don't think you've had an easy go of it, right? These last few years have not been for the faint of heart.
Yeah, a lot of people have left.
On the mortgage side, I could just point to, we went from roughly, I'm painting with broad strokes. We went from roughly 450,000 licensees nationally to around 75,000 over the last 3 years.
Wow.
What does that tell you?
Loan officers?
Yeah. It's not easy anymore.
Yeah.
But what's good about that is the fact that you stayed in and didn't fall out like everyone else shows that you're actually in it to win it. If I had $1 for every time I heard somebody on the other side of a phone call applying for a loan and saying, I used to be in mortgage, I know what you're talking about. I'm like, let me guess. 2008.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's like, it's when it gets hard that we actually have an opportunity to develop our skill set.
Yeah.
When life is always easy and abundant, I mean, it's fine. You learn to appreciate those things more as you get older when you go through the valleys versus the peaks. Of course. So I think you've done a lot to put yourself in a good position.
Yeah. I'm thankful for everything I've learned,
Yeah.
For all of you guys out there getting into the business or have been in it for a while, one thing I've learned is the easiest way to succeed in this is do the boring stuff daily. That sets you apart from 90% of people in the industry.
Yeah.
A lot of us think it's these grand things we have to do, but it's literally just picking up the phone and dialing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of folks are, well, I need to show up to an open house with a flyer. Why do you need a flyer? Right? Well, why do you need a business card? Sure. Is it nice to have?
Yeah.
Matt's first realtor was when he knew nothing about loans, fresh off of getting his license, walked in his first realtor, Penny McCann, in Los Alamitos, Seal Beach area. He had no business card, and she responded with coldness to him. Initially, right? I have a million stories like that.
Yeah.
I think the thing that people get really confused about in the human experience is why, at the very top of the list, why is somebody going to work with Israel? It's because they like you.
Yep.
They want to make it more complicated. Oh, it's the script. Oh, it's the platform. Oh, it's the interest rate. Oh, it's the product. It's the bell. It's the whistle. No, sorry. Like those things matter, but it's the 90%. That's the 10%. The 90% is who you are as a human being, and you doing the boring things, and you showing up, and you're stating it well. I hope my boys are listening to this when I ask them to take out the trash today. All right. Well, any thoughts on forecasting of 2026 as far as interest rates and the real estate market go?
From what I've been told and from what I hear, it's going to be a good year. The last two have been a little bit rough, a little stagnant. Not for everybody, but I'm hoping rates continue to drop. And we have our big event coming up on the 20th.
Yes, we do.
So taking my notepad, going to take a lot of notes.
Yeah.
I'll get a little more insight then.
I like the way Logan Motashami put it with Housing Wire, our main speaker. Last year, he said, by the end of this presentation, you're going to know more than 99% of the population when it comes to housing. Yeah.
Very excited.
Like if you listen to CNBC or all the other random platforms or go on YouTube and all the gurus who talk about real estate, you're getting agenda-driven propaganda.
Yeah.
Right? With Logan, there's none of that. He's an entertaining speaker, but it's all data-driven.
Right.
And there's no fluff.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
That's all we can do. Look at the data.
Yeah. Look at the data.
Okay.
Numbers don't lie, as they say, folks. Israel
Mazariegos.
I am going to get there. I will not give up on this. Thank you for listening today. Hope you learned something.